Welcome! I'm Poables and this is Because You Watched. This is my first episode for review requests, so I'm a bit nervous here. Our first review request was 9 by Shane Acker, which was also produced by Tim Burton. It's a 2010 science fiction film. It's done entirely in CGI, and this request came from this person, I think. Here. Somewhere around here. 9 is about a small band of survivors called the Stitch Folk who fight for their survival in a post-apocalyptic war zone. Humankind is dead, and in its place we have these little characters made mostly of Hessian and simple electronics. The main protagonist, simply known as 9, is played by Elijah Wood, and it slowly uncovers the mysteries of the world that it's been plunged into. Most people would know Elijah Wood from his role as Frodo in Lord of the Rings trilogy. I know that was the main thing that I recognized him from. I have to say the visual effects, especially the environment, are superb. The sound also is very expressive. And the character design, both visually and the way the characters develop around each other, is really good. In fact, the visual character design is something I have to talk about on its own. This movie's ability to make a bunch of ragdolls fighting off robots and running around look good is unprecedented. I have never actually seen something quite this visually impressive. You will never find anything as unbelievably cool as this, and I'm not able to say that for many CGI movies. Picture Little Big Planet, the Terminator series, any post-apocalyptic movie like The Book of Eli, plus any Tim Burton film, all mashed together. I would imagine that it'd be pretty damn close to being this. The dialogue could use some work. In some places, it sounds almost as if the actor has just been like, "Over there, by those 3 tall shapes." Man, this is 3 tall shapes? What? Can I say buildings? Another little problem I had was the voice acting. I think there's only 2 characters that I would have kept the actors for. I don't really think this was cast very well. Besides 1 and 2, the rest are just a little lacking in believability. However, regardless of these 2 points, this film is actually so good that it kind of makes up for those little pitfalls. So I give this movie 6.5 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. It's not bad. My next film that I'm reviewing is a request from this guy. Do I have a ping noise? Maybe I should put a ping noise in. Oh, there you go. Alright, so I'm actually a little nervous about reviewing this film because it's a very classic science fiction movie, and it's probably a movie that sparked my interest in the film industry. This film is Alien by Ridley Scott. Now, just on a side note, there is no way I could possibly fit all the information I have and like about this film into one 7-minute review. The amount of effort that was put into this film is just phenomenal, and there's no way I could cover everything. So, Alien is a 1979 film about a ship called the Nostromo, a mining ship which receives a distress beacon until something goes a little bit wrong. After answering the distress beacon, the crew slowly come to realize as they are picked off one by one that it wasn't actually a distress beacon, but a warning. Seriously though, this film is very successful, and it ranks far superior to most of the horror movies nowadays that are kind of just like, "Oh my god, look over there!" Whoa. This film is close to scientifically accurate. The alien follows a very believable life cycle, quite similar to some insects and worms on our planet, and the ship's interior and all the systems are actually quite believable. I think Ridley Scott was the first director to actually make a ship look dirty and kind of slobby instead of this cold, white, monotonous surgical environment where everything was cleaned every 2 milliseconds. Parts of the film are perfect. The way they act is very emotional and raw and real. It's very believable, especially the way that some of the roles are designed to work with each other. The most famous scene from this film, the dinner scene, which I think most people who have seen this quite vividly remember, is where things start to get a bit interesting for the crew. Now apparently this was ad-libbed, and I think that worked really well for Ridley Scott because he really was able to reap the best from his crew there. Just for point of interest, Sigourney Weaver plays the protagonist, and I think she's really refreshing and fantastic in this role, mostly because she's a heroine who isn't just completely masculine. The only gripe I would have about this movie is that initially when I first saw it, admittedly I was 10 and probably pretty stupid, I didn't know who to focus on. Despite this approach to the character development actually mirrors the plot of the movie. It's almost as if you're initially unsure of who is safe, who's the good guy, and who's going to be the bad guy, and how everything is going to pan out. Of course, there are a few minor hiccups. Things like product placement and people smoking cigarettes in the cockpit of a ship about 1,000 years in the future, I think, running on Windows 95 or earlier software. There's just something a little overly stupid about that. The alien itself was done mostly using puppetry and a guy in a suit, and I think that's really cool because most movies nowadays unfortunately use CGI, but I still think some are okay. In fact, many of the sequels employed CGI to use the alien, and I think they kind of lost it. Here we have Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Alien vs Predator, Alien vs Predator Requiem, and Never Say Never. I'm not gonna lie, this film is frightening. The first time I saw it, I was about 10 and it scared the living daylights out of me. The jumps, the tension, the build-up in most of the scenes is actually quite a psychological battle to get through. I give this film a 9.5 out of 10. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, don't even bother subscribing or commenting. Just go out and watch it right now. No, I didn't mean it. So if you can, please help spread this out or comment or subscribe. I'm looking to actually start doing this twice a week if I can get my views up to say 650 in the first 7 days of release. So if people could help me out, that would be really, really good. If you've got any review requests, I'm happy to do them. And Merry Saturday to everyone out there.